This is a family's worst day, and I can tell you that it's deeply affecting every employee from the sheriff's office who's out here responded and is on scene.
On Friday, August 7th, 2026, a 5-year-old child who is described as being autistic went missing from his family home in Hillsborough County, Florida. First responders responded to a 911 phone call made by the child's father, who stated he woke his son up at around 5 a.m. to get him something to drink, and then again at 9 a.m., only to discover he was missing from the bed they both shared. He immediately searched for him throughout the home and then discovered that the screen on the screen-in patio was broken and pushed open. Since the child's grandmother lived there also, he went and asked her if she had seen his son. More than 140 deputies arrived on the scene along with aviation, drones, K9, and dive units to help search for the child. A bloodhound deployed by the K9 unit repeatedly circled the retention pond, which is located 25 to 30 feet from the home. The dive team entered the water at 5 feet, and that's where the child's body was discovered. The family is so devastated by this loss because the child had just turned 5, and they had also recently celebrated that the child had got accepted into a school that would fit his needs. A sheriff's office spokesperson is urging families to get their child swim lessons, and the grandmother is saying the same. Currently in Florida, there are no laws that require fencing around retention ponds, which means that the need for swimming lessons is even more important and even more urgent. Also, this is the second child to have drowned in the area in this year.
We know from a 911 call that we received around 9:30 this morning from a frantic father that said that his child has gone missing. His 5-year-old autistic child, he couldn't locate. He told us that he last saw his child around 5 a.m. The child sleeps with him, and he was trying to get his son to drink something. His son didn't want it, and they both fell back asleep. He woke up at 9 a.m., saw that his son wasn't in bed with him, so he looked around the apartment, didn't see him there, became a little more frantic, started looking around outside and saw that the screened-in area, the screen had been broken and pushed open. He looked around, he hesitated for a second and called his mom, who they live with, who's an elementary school teacher, and called and contacted her to make sure that, hey, maybe my son's with him. Unfortunately, the son wasn't with her either. So during this half-hour time period, he then, from 9 o'clock to 9 a.m., when he woke up till 9:30, decides to call us. Within minutes, we're here. Matter of fact, over 140 deputy sheriffs showed up here today. Our aviation unit was here. Our drone deputies were out here. Our K9, along with our dive team. Speaking with our K9 handlers who deployed one of our bloodhounds, and when we're doing search and rescue, we know they're better than some of our police utility dogs that serve a different purpose, that the dog continued to go around this retention pond that's about 30 feet at best, located behind the apartment. So at that point, he notifies the dive team to start here. Moments later, the dive team member that entered the water entered into about 5 feet or about waist-high water, felt what he believed to be a 5-year-old child, and indeed, unfortunately, this isn't the outcome any of us would ever wish to have. We ended up recovering a deceased 5-year-old child. I just spoke to the family, got done speaking to the grandmother, and asked her, what could the sheriff's office do for you? And she said, change this nightmare, wake us up from this nightmare. I said, is there a message that we can put out here today? And she said, tell people not to ever avoid getting swim lessons. So I'm going to honor those wishes. Anyone out there, regardless of the age of your child, regardless of the circumstances, they have special needs, it doesn't matter, get them swim lessons. We know scientifically proven that autistic children are prone and attracted to bodies of water. I'll tell you this, that I think it's important to note. This is our second autistic child that we have recovered who has drowned in this apartment complex in the Northdale area in less than 2 months. The second 5-year-old autistic child. Our victim here today just turned 5 years old. The family's was kind of in a swing of celebrations. They just celebrated his 5th birthday. They also just celebrated that he got accepted into an elementary school. They were excited that they located a school here that was going to cater to his abilities and his learning style. So they were extremely excited. But now Monday, instead of planning the first day of school, they have to plan a funeral. What questions can I try to answer at this time?
Sure. What was the proximity between that retention pond and his home or apartment?
The proximity of the detention pond where our autistic 5-year-old victim was recovered, and the screened-in patio that he had broken through, pushed through to get to, I would say no more than 25 to 30 feet. He didn't travel far.
You kind of touched on it, but what are some of the additional challenges your deputies face when looking for a child who has autism, is nonverbal, and is only 5?
Yeah, great question. The question is, what are some of the challenges, not only when we try to recover a missing child, but when it's an autistic child? And Florida has a lot of water. Tampa's no exception. We have a lot of wooded area, retention ponds, and that certainly becomes a challenge. Matter of fact, I think that's why the deputies did such a phenomenal job today, that knowing that it was this complex, knowing the arriving deputy and supervisors who got here and saw that there were so many bodies of water inside this apartment complex, made the call right there within seconds. I need K9 and I need the dive team. Wonderful job by every responding employee here today.